Look, with so much people moving down to Albuquerque, we rarely ever talk about the pros and cons of some of these areas. And in today's video, I thought that we should probably go over some of the top areas and really talk about the good and the bad about living in these areas, the different amenities that they have there, and also what you can expect when you are moving to these top areas in Albuquerque. We've been talking a lot about Rio Rancho, but I think it's time to touch on Albuquerque just a little bit, just to let you guys know that, hey, no, we did not move. We're not living in Rio Rancho. We actually still talk a lot about Albuquerque. We've just wanted to hop onto Rio Rancho for a bit just to talk about what they have to offer over there, because it is a growing city and they still have a ton of offer. So in today's video, we're going to be going over some of the top areas in Albuquerque and the pros and cons, weighing them out. So get your pen and a pad, write down some of these things, jot some questions down, and let's get right into it. Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Eli, and over the course of the past 5 years, I've been able to help over 60 families find a place to call home. And I'd love to help you guys out too, right? So as much as I love doing these videos, I would love to also hop on a quick video call to make sure that whatever move you're making down here to Albuquerque or any other city in New Mexico, you're making the right decision. So that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Feel free to take a screenshot, pause the video, write it down, do what you got to do. That way you can reach out whenever you're ready, because if you're looking to move within the next 30, 60, or 90 days, I'd love to make sure that you're making all the right moves, and I like to make that transition down here to New Mexico a lot smoother for you guys. But enough from me, guys. Let's get right into the video. All right, guys, now just really getting into it. This area has always been a highly sought out area, even when I was growing up. The Taylor Ranch area has nothing ranchy about it. Sorry to break it to you guys, but this area has always been a family-friendly neighborhood. You walk through some of the parks up there, they're super green. There's grasses and even some of the medians, trees. All that stuff is going to be happening down there in Taylor Ranch. Now, they've also got a plethora of walking trails, and they also have the petroglyphs. Maybe that's why they've always attracted a lot more attention, just because they got a national monument. Well, is it a national monument or just kind of like a touristy thing? We'll have to do our homework on that. But anyways, the petroglyphs is something that you're going to want to see. And maybe that's something that's always attracted people over there, just because, they want to be closer to nature. They want to have all those walking trails. And some of these homes, believe it or not, back in the day got bigger lots. So when you're looking for houses in Taylor Ranch, yes, some of the lots are going to be bigger. And some of the homes are going to be kind of wonky because they were built back in like the 70s and the 80s. So a lot of that old school kind of like everything is subdivided is still very prominent in some of those homes. Now, not to say that they're ugly or anything like that. I like them, but personally, the 70s vibe where everything is cut off isn't my style. And a lot of those homes have been renovated. So don't feel like you're totally out of place, because they've also built some newer subdivisions up in that area, and they all are providing open concepts, open spaces to all these great family amenities, especially within a house. So you never feel like you're in the kitchen alone cooking by yourself. And that's going to be huge if you are a cook. I know I'm not a cook, but my wife tells me all the time, hey, we need to have an open concept on the next house, because I hate feeling like I'm alone in the kitchen. I want to make sure everybody's congregating together. And so I can guess that a lot more people are feeling the same way, because I would feel the same way. But anyhow, the only cons that I can tell you right now about Taylor Ranch is there's not a whole lot of shopping going on over there, and the homes are older. So you are going to find yourself renovating, doing updates, and that kind of deal a lot more often. So if that's not going to bother you, you are pretty handy, or you don't mind traveling down just to the one shopping center, that strip right there on Corso Montano, where they have the Sprouts, the Albertsons, and all these other little shopping centers, then that's fine, right? If you're just a pretty basic person, you don't need a whole lot of shopping. You do everything off of Amazon, Instacart, or whatever they have these days, then you're going to be just fine. All right, guys. Now, the next area that I'm going to be touching on is close to my heart, because I grew up in this area, and that's the Southwest Heights. Southwest Heights has been seeing a ton of growth within the past 10 years. They've also built new schools, new subdivisions, new master plan communities, new shopping centers. All that stuff has been happening so fast, because it's always been somewhat of, open space, farmland, that kind of deal. that now that people are starting to sell, more people are starting to land grab, and they're starting to come in and build these new homes, these new subdivisions, these new retail shopping centers like Las Estancias, which is right on Rio Bravo and Coors. And I mean, this area is beautiful, and they've also done really well with catering to the culture down there. Vibrant colors, really upbeat. They got Starbucks, Whataburger, the movie theater, Ross. I mean, Hobby Lobby even over there. So for all those hobbyists that live in that area, it's right down the street from you guys if you are moving to the Southwest Heights. Now, the Southwest Heights is kind of funny because it's pretty big in a sense, but you are going to have all these amenities all around you, from neighborhood Walmarts to large Walmarts to, strip malls with all different kinds of local shoppings and eats. And, you're also going to have your normal big box retailers and restaurants in those areas that you can enjoy as well. So like a Jack in the Box, a McDonald's, a Wingstop are still really all up in the mix of that neighborhood up there. But for this sake here, the Southwest Heights is still very affordable. I mean, you can still find a pretty decent home under $300,000. And believe it or not, just like the house we were at today, one of the listings I got on the market right now is priced at $285,000. 4-bedroom, 1,700 square foot house, and it sits in the corner lot of a gated community. I mean, what more could you want with how crazy home prices have gotten is what they tell me. A home like this is few far in between. So when they do pop on the market, a lot of people tend to grab them up real quick. So if you are thinking about moving down to Albuquerque, again, guys, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Hit me up. Let's get on a quick call, really discuss what your next steps are, and make a plan around what's catering to your needs. But the only con, I guess, that I have around the Southwest Heights is that a lot of people live up there, right? There was a big move, again, right, because of the affordability and everything that was happening back in the day. Everybody moved that way and started land grabbing. So my biggest thing is that when I was living out there, a lot of people that I went to either school with or work with lived on that side of town too. So I would see them all the time. Like, I couldn't escape them. So I would go purposely to the other side of town, or, other stores that were far from my house. That way I can see different people, do that kind of thing. Not to say that I don't like these people, but sometimes you just want to go to the store without having to get interrupted, having to stop and have hour-long conversation, or having this hour-long trip for something that should have taken you 15 minutes to get. But other than that, guys, the introverted in me just came out like crazy. But I know you guys can relate because, sometimes when you get out of work and you've been in traffic all day and you go to the store, sometimes you just want to get in and get out. So if that's going to be an issue to you, maybe rethink about moving to the Southwest Heights and move into this next area that we're going to be talking about. All right, now, if you're looking to move closer to the mountains, but you really don't want to be all up in the mix up there, you're in for some luck. The Foothills is going to be an area that you're going to want to really look into if you still want to be kind of like borderline in the mountains, not really, but still in the city, still have all those amenities that you can just kind of go down the street to get your groceries kind of thing. You don't have to travel 20, 30 minutes in order to get to a grocery store or any store like that. But the Foothills is going to have a ton to offer for you guys. Now, you're looking at mid-century modern homes because back in the boom in the 70s, when a lot of people were moving down here, a lot of big money moved up closer to the mountains and built these artistic homes, big windows, nice views, really took advantage of where the house was sitting at right on top of the hills. And you can see that. When you're going up there, you're going to see all these different types of homes that they all just look a little different. They all try to keep the Southwest style, of course, because for whatever reason it's super popular. In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the Southwest style homes. I like the traditional modern homes. I just can't get with the Vigas and the cutouts that look like this. Personal opinion there, even though I lived here and I was born and raised here, and I kind of preach about how great it is. I personally don't like the Southwest style. But getting back to the Foothills just has a bunch of little secrets that you got to live up there in order to be able to do it. really take advantage of these things, from all the walking trails, all the open spaces, the tram being so close to you guys. And I think if you're a resident, it's a lot cheaper for you guys as well. So if you are going to live up there, the tram is going to be something that you're going to want to take at least one ride in, especially if you're afraid of heights, because it's one of the longest trams here in the United States, for one. And could you just imagine just seeing Albuquerque from a view that is only going to cost you about $30 without having to hike up the mountain? Yeah, I can't either. So it might be worth it for you guys. And then once you're all done, you can reward yourself with a drink right up at the top at that fancy restaurant that they have at the top of the crest. Now, when we're talking about history, right, because we did talk about history of the Foothills and stuff like that, people moving over there. Recently, in Stranger Things, if you guys have watched the show Stranger Things, my kids turned me on to it, and now I'm hooked. But if you guys are like me, you're going to see a very recognizable house, and that recognizable house is in Stranger Things, and it's right up on Tramway and Montgomery, right up in one of the corners up there. If you ever come down here, I'd love to take you just to show you which house it is, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And that house right now is also on Airbnb, so you can actually rent out the house, stay in it. They got it pretty set up to where it's kind of normal. It's not like it was when it was in the TV show, but they still give you bits and pieces of what Stranger Things had to do in that area. And touching on Stranger Things, the skating rink that they filmed the TV series in is in Albuquerque as well. It's up there close to the Foothills. It's not actually in the Foothills, but it's pretty close. And it used to be called Roller Skate City back in the day, I believe. Now they kept the name of Skatomania just because of the movie or the Stranger Things TV series. And it's blown up. I mean, I tell you, they have the Stranger Things nights and stuff like that from time to time. And if you are looking to move to the Foothills and you're looking for something to do, the skating rink is just right down the street. And they also have the Hinkle Family Fun Center, which is like an arcade / putt-putt area. They have bumper water carts and stuff like that in that little vicinity up there off of Tramway. And speaking about Tramway, guys, I got to tell you, Tramway is an awesome way to navigate to the city because it connects Albuquerque all the way from south to north, and it's going to be a breeze because you go at highway speeds, and if you are looking to bike it, it's going to be a long trek, but a lot of people do it because they have bike paths designated just for that, and they also have hiking trails that you can hike from one end of the city to the other. It's going to be a long, extensive hike. I don't guarantee that you're going to like it very much, but if you're one of those enthusiasts, a marathon runner, or you're just somebody who likes to do those kinds of activities, the Foothills is going to be a perfect area for you to exercise those kinds of things, especially if you are looking to be more in nature, be kind of away from the city, a lot less populated. But there's one con that I got to give you guys, because if you are going to live up there, you got to be careful with the critters that are up there, because they do have mountain lions and they do have black bears. You'll see them from time to time, and they'll actually come down from the mountains and kind of just roam the neighborhood. So you got to be careful. If you are thinking about moving to the Foothills, if you got a little dog, you got kiddos, you might want to be mindful if they are playing outside by themselves, because these critters will come into your backyards and sometimes even to your homes. Now, aside from the scary critters, they also have deer, which is awesome. It's super nice to see, especially if you're walking out to your front yard and you see this family of deer just crossing your path. It's going to make you feel like you're in a different part of the world and you're not in Albuquerque within the city. So not a whole lot of negative going on there, kind of positive, to be honest with you guys. And also you are going to want to think about your home specifically and your budget, because those homes up there are going to be a little bit more expensive and they're going to be older. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, don't get too scared, right? There's not going to be cougars and black bears all over the city. So if you aren't wanting to be around that, you're probably going to want to move closer to the middle of the city. And one of the top areas within the middle of the city is that UNM and Nob Hill area. According to niche.com, this area is somewhere that you're going to want to move to because it is very trendy. It's very hipster. It really caters to that local community. And if you are looking for that artistic kind of style and vibe, this area is going to be just for you. Now, in terms of homes, since it was so close to the college there, and a lot of college professors live close to the UNM area. They really land grabbed that Summit Park, Altura Park, and Sandia Ridge and built mid-century modern homes back in the day. Now, again, these homes are beautiful. A lot of them have been modernized and renovated and brought up to the modern day standard. So you can have the idea that it's going to be pretty expensive. Living in that neighborhood is just going to cost you some bucks, right? You're looking at over $500,000 just to even look into the neighborhood, starting off just because of where it's at. It's close to the UNM. It's mid-century modern, so you're getting a bigger home, and you are going to be close to all those amenities and smack dab right in the middle of the city. So keep in mind that if you are willing to pay for, as they call it, pay to play, if you're looking to move to an area that is centralized, you are going to be paying a little bit more money, especially because they got all the amenities of the college, right? The college has 2 different golf courses, and then you have all the different shopping up there. You got Nob Hill, which for number one is a sought out area to begin with because of all the history. So keep that in mind. It's going to cost you some big bucks. Some of the homes are a little bit older, so you may be able to get into that area for, under that price range that we talked about, just because you're going to find a home that needs some love. So if that's something that you're looking for, you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, again, hit me up. Let's get on a quick call. All right, guys. Now, I spoke about a few areas that, according to niche.com, a lot more people are moving to. And I just want to make sure that whether you're moving to UNM, the Foothills, or the Southwest Heights, that you're getting a local's perspective, that you're getting a ton of value from a person like me that actually lives and works in the community. And you can get a personal opinion of what these areas are looking like and feeling like. So, again, if you are looking to move to any one of these areas, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. I'd love to hop on a quick Zoom call with you guys. That way we can secure whatever your move you're looking to make here within the next 30, 60, or 90 days. So feel free to reach out. I'd love to help. I've had a good time just hanging out with you guys. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.